Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into our Shifting Gears Preparing for a Career Change presentation. My name is Casey. I'm an MSW level intern here at CEW Plus, and today we're just going to talk about how we can feel a little bit more prepared going into our new career journey. So just a little bit about CEW Plus. We strive to empower women and underserved individuals in the University of Michigan and surrounding communities by serving as an advocate and providing resources to help them reach their academic, financial, and professional potential. We provide career and educational counseling, scholarships and fellowships for U of M students, career development workshops, and staff and faculty advocacy initiatives. We are located downtown in Ann Arbor on East Liberty Street. Our appointments are free and open to all students, staff, faculty, and community members. So even if you are not affiliated with the University of Michigan, you are still welcome to participate in our services. We can help with resume and cover letter review, mock interviewing, and career and educational exploration. We offer phone, video, and in-person appointments. You can find out more information on our website and schedule an appointment if you are interested. So just to go over our agenda for our time today, we'll start off by going over some materials on getting to know ourselves, just taking inventory on what our needs are, resources to help explore what the right career is for you, where to look for jobs, some job seeking strategies, and how to market yourself as a strong candidate. So to start us off, we're going to be thinking about what are we looking for in a job? What is going to fulfill our needs? So before starting the job seeking process, it's important to understand what it is that you need out of a job. In knowing yourself, you can assess the fit of a potential job and figure out your priorities before starting on the job search can help in this process. So if you take a look at the workbook that goes along with this presentation, you'll find a couple of journal prompts. And so I encourage you, if you would like to participate in these, just to stop the recording here and go ahead and take a look at these reflection prompts and use these just to think about really what matters for you, what gives you a sense of purpose or meaning, and help you kind of start brainstorming a little bit what type of career you're looking for. So go ahead and stop here and pause if you would like to work on this. All right, so moving forward, we have another fun activity. So again, if you would like to take a moment and fill out this worksheet, you can also find this in your workbook. Go ahead and pause the recording here. This is just a worksheet to help us start brainstorming some of the skills and the things that we bring to the table while we're considering new careers. And one more quick activity. So this is our 4 quadrants worksheet. And so it kind of helps us visualize what our priorities are in a new job. So as you can see, we break it down by essential, tolerable, bonus, and deal breaker. We have a couple of examples here for you. But go ahead and pause the recording here if you would like to take some time to think about what may fall under these 4 quadrants for you in assessing the fit of a new career. So, welcome back. If you were able to pause the recording and fill out some of those worksheets, I hope that those resources were helpful for you in some of that self-exploration and thinking about what type of career you may be interested in. So, just to keep moving on, I always encourage participants just to think big and take risks when we're applying for a job. It sounds like if you're here, you're already thinking about stepping out of your comfort zone. And so I really try to encourage that. You never know what doors could open for you unless you try. And you never know really where you may be suited for. Think of your transferable skills. Even if you read a job posting and maybe on paper you don't think that you fit all the qualifications, maybe you don't check every single mark. I encourage people to just to try anyway, because quite often we have skills that we're employing in our current workplace that, even if it's not the exact same as this new job that we're taking a look at, we can definitely bring what we know and adapt it to this new environment. So again, I just encourage people just to think big and go for anything that they may seem interested in. So next up, I have just a few resources that can be really helpful in just exploring what types of careers are out there. Sometimes we're in a space of we don't know what we don't know. And so I find that these resources can be helpful in just filling in some of those gaps. So this website is called My Next Move, and we can utilize it in three different ways, as you can see here. So in one way, we can just type in some keywords of things that we may be interested in. Maybe you're looking for something that uses creativity. Maybe you're looking for something with problem solving, maybe leadership, whatever it may be. You can go ahead and type that into the little search bar, and then it will actually generate a list of different occupational titles for you. So if you then take a look at that list, if you click on any of those titles, it'll break it down and give you even more information. You can watch a quick clip on what a day in the life looks like in that occupation, what skills or knowledge are necessary, even what type of personality is needed for that specific job. And then you can also see what education is required. If you maybe need a certain degree for a certain job, and you can also see the salary outlook, which you can then narrow down even by your local salary info. The second way we can use this website is browsing by industry. So let's say you have a specific career field in mind. You know that you're interested in administration and support services, as we see here. You can go ahead and click browse, and then it's kind of the same process where it'll give you that list of occupations that you can click on and do some further exploration in. And then the last way that we can use this website is just figuring out what types of jobs that we're interested in. There's a quick little quiz here where we can just kind of mark our interests, and it will generate a list of occupations that may suit the things that we enjoy doing. So this can be helpful, like I said, just in giving us that vocabulary for what types of jobs we may want to take a deeper dive into. So this resource is very similar. This is the Occupational Outlook Handbook through the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So as you can see, we also have a list of occupation groups here, similar to My Next Move. So if you take a look and click on any of those, it's kind of the same process where it'll give you a list of different job titles that you can then click on for more information. It'll give you what education is required, skills, similar occupations, that occupation's growth rate, all of that kind of fun stuff. Then with this website, you can also search by median pay, entry-level education, what the growth rate projected is, all these different types of things. So both websites work in very similar ways, but I find them just to be really helpful, especially when we're in that space of, I don't even know what's out there, that can help us just kind of put the pieces together a little bit. So once you've done, the self-reflection and the exploration, and maybe taken a look at a few of those resources just to see what types of jobs you're looking for, then we need to know where we can actually find those jobs. And so here we have a couple of ways that we can actually see where those jobs are at. So we can utilize search engines, employer websites, employee bulletins. Remember that some employers may not use search engines like Indeed, Glassdoor, some of those more common ones. That sometimes happens with local government agencies and things of the like. So you can always try to look specifically at employers' websites, especially if there's somewhere that you're interested in working, like very specifically. You can try attending conferences or different events, maybe that are put on in your area. That can be a great chance just to get to know people and see who's hiring. And then, of course, networking. Just utilizing your network, people you may know, um, people that know. Just trying to access information in anyone who may be out there that can be really helpful. Referrals can go a really long way when we're applying for jobs. And so just trying to assess who we know and gaining information from them can be really helpful. If we don't actually know of anyone off the top of our heads, or we don't actually already have that connection made with people in the industry that maybe we're interested in, LinkedIn, alumni associations of a university, if you're a graduate of a university, different things like that can be a good place just to see who is out there doing the work that you're interested in and trying to make some of those connections. So just to talk about a couple of the different types of search engines, you can try to consider sites that are specific for you. So let's say you're interested in nonprofit work, idealist.org would be a good place to look. Flex Jobs specializes in remote jobs. Higher ed jobs, of course, is for jobs in higher education. And the Chronicle is also a good place for academia positions. If you're not sure of a specific search engine for whatever field that you would like to look for, you can always try, just going on Google or something similar and searching job search engine and then including that field of interest. It's also important not to forget about university or college websites. Usually different departments have job boards available, or if you're interested in working for a specific institution, for example, U of M has their U of M careers website, where you can find any current job that's available anywhere within the university. So that can also be a good place to look, even if you're not looking specifically at U of M, just finding those types of places. So to kind of build on that networking piece that I mentioned, you may be asking, what is networking? So networking is basically just sharing and acquiring information. It's giving and receiving support. It's an expansion of your professional circle, and it's about developing relationships over time, not just a one-shot deal in most cases. So no one is born good at networking. It's definitely something that takes practice. And it, as I mentioned, is about giving and receiving and developing those relationships over time. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight in most cases, but it's less scary than it seems, I promise. To help grow your network, you may consider joining an alumni group, as I mentioned, professional organizations in your area, or even just kind of asking around, seeing who you know that may be connected to somebody else, somebody who has a specific experience that you know of that you'd like to learn more information about, or as I mentioned, using those social media networks like LinkedIn, sometimes even Facebook. People may have a professional Facebook page where they're open to giving and receiving information. So that can be a really good way just to see what jobs are out there and see who's out there doing work that you would like to maybe do. And that can help us just narrow down our search. So, networking can sometimes seem a little bit intimidating, especially if we're trying to make a connection with somebody that we don't already know. So it's good to have a quick networking introduction prepared. When we're in that situation of, maybe we're meeting somebody and, think of the classic elevator speech. Let's say you're stuck on an elevator ride with somebody, you have 30 seconds. What do you tell them about yourself? So it's useful for those quick interactions. It can also be a great primer for answering the infamous "tell me about yourself" question that we often see in job interviews. And of course, we want to be brief. This is meant to be that quick introduction. Like I said, 30 seconds, just lay it all out there as concisely as possible. So kind of the general structure that we want to follow in these networking introductions is just a quick intro. Who are you? What do you do? And just what do they need to know about you? Talk about your experience and your interests. What have you done in the past and how does this make you unique? And then you really want that call to action. What do you want to excuse me. What do you want to happen after this encounter? Are you just looking to gain information? Are you looking for a job referral? Are you looking for a connection to another person within the field that maybe can help you along even more? And it's important to have those goals in mind when we're initiating this contact with new people that we're trying to network with. It's always important to practice. Sometimes it can be difficult to actually put into words the things that maybe we have going on in our minds, or just to even narrow down all of our vast experience and knowledge in just a quick little introduction. So it can be really helpful just to practice saying it out loud, maybe even writing it down, just kind of having a general outline that we can refer back to. I find that can be really helpful. And then the same types of rules apply for email interactions. As I mentioned, LinkedIn is a really big one for networking these days. So let's say you're sending a message over LinkedIn or you're sending an email to somebody. You want to follow kind of the same brief structure. Okay, so let's say that you've found the job, you've done the networking, you found the opportunity that you really want to apply for. What are some of those key elements of your job application? First off, a clear promise of value, a defined target. We really want it to be results focused. What are the outcomes of what we've done and how we can bring that to this new organization? And an accurate use of keywords. That one is really important because it shows that not only have you done your research on the organization, on the job posting, but incorporating keywords from that organization's website or the specific job posting can also show um, it can help us get our resume or our application materials past some modern scanners and AI type things that are used to filter out a lot of applicants. So in order to make it past those scanners and actually get your resume on somebody's desk, it's important to use those keywords. So just to break it down, thinking about our defined target. So we really want to have that defined theme, a cohesive picture that's geared towards the specific job that you're applying for. I know a lot of people have just like kind of a general resume document that they have of a broad summary of everything that they've done. But when we're applying for a job, we really want to show the potential employer that it's not just we're applying for a job, but this job. And so we can use our resume and our application materials to highlight that. You really want to emphasize critical skills or experience and exclude or downplay aspects of past work experience that's maybe unrelated to your target. So this is especially true if you are making a career change, thinking about our past experiences that may be different to what we're looking to jump into, trying to show how those experiences are still relevant. So I have a quick example here. So this is actually a very old resume of mine. And let's say that I'm applying for a job over at CEPAC here at U of M, their Sexual Assault Prevention and Awareness Center here on campus. So taking a look at my list of experiences and skills and coursework, none of this really applies to what they may be looking for over at CEPAC. They are not going to care that I was in choir and theater in high school. They really just want to see skills and experiences that I have that speak to what kind of job that they're looking for. They want somebody that can fill their position and do what it is that they need done. And this resume doesn't really demonstrate that for them. So instead, we can try to reformulate it. This is an updated version. And so as you can see, I highlighted my relevant work experience so that it stands out. Um, Using that relevant work experience headline right there at the beginning was also helpful to work around the standard chronological order format that most resumes follow, so that my most relevant experience, which as you can see is actually a few years old, is now at the top of the resume. It's not buried there at the bottom. So that's something that I find really helpful. Again, especially when we're in a career change space, maybe we our experience isn't specifically geared towards this new job that we're applying for, or maybe it's from a very long time ago and we're kind of returning to it. um, the way that we can try to include that so it doesn't get buried or it doesn't seem like it's just less important than our other experiences is using this format. Not necessary, just something a suggestion that I have found useful. I also, as you can see, I crafted my professional statement to speak to what they were looking for, such as trauma-informed care, social justice, and I did this using keywords from the job posting, which I already kind of mentioned, but um, that's really just about incorporating the highlights from the job posting from their website, showing that we've done our research and helping us make it past some of those initial scans. In my additional work experience, which you can't really see here in this quick little screenshot, um, but I also tried to frame some of my less relevant experiences in ways that are relevant to the work at SAPAC. So, for example, SAPAC is looking for advocates. So I talked about times that I have advocated in my other roles, even if it wasn't a specific job requirement of my past role was to be an advocate, trying to think of examples of times that I did that. And kind of using like I said, reframing some of our past experiences so that it makes sense for this new job posting. So again, just to reiterate about some of those keywords, they can help us display how our past experiences relate to this new job. Again, shows that you've done your research on the organization and the specific job that you're applying for, and it can help us demonstrate some of those transferable skills. So again, if you take a look in your workbook, you will find this reference sheet. This can be really helpful in just giving us a vocabulary to describe what our transferable skills are. You know, I talk with a lot of participants who seem to feel like they don't have any other skills other than the specific things that they've done. But really, when you think about a lot of experiences that you have in your workplace, there are different skills that go into it. You know, like you can break it down and think about how we communicate, how we plan, how we even manage the day-to-day life at our job. So we're really putting in a lot more effort than sometimes it even seems. And so just thinking how we can break it down, how we can better describe the things that we've done that it so it makes sense for this new employer. So this can just serve as a reference, just to help you start brainstorming different ways that you may be using knowledge and skills in ways that maybe you're not even fully aware of, and just kind of giving us that vocabulary that we can include on our resume. So I actually got this example from Indeed. So as you can see, you know, this kind of highlights how we can take our experiences and reframe them a little bit. So in this first example, this is a writer transitioning to a social media coordinator. So in the before, you can see that they're responsible for researching, writing, editing blog posts, all that kind of stuff. It shines a spotlight on the parts of the writing job. Then in the after that relate to social media. It drops those irrelevant tasks and procedures that don't necessarily correlate to a social media position, while highlighting the things that they have done that maybe do make sense in that social media type position. So if you would like to maybe pause here and just kind of read through this, this can be helpful just as a model of what I'm describing when I'm talking about those transferable skills. And as you can see, we have another example here, um, talking about a financial advisor transitioning to outside sales. So this resume added relevant sales keywords to their accomplishments and tasks to help draw the connection between their financial job and their sales job. So again, I encourage you just to pause if you're interested in just taking a look at some of the wording and using this as a model to highlight some of your transferable skills. So we also want our application materials to be results focused. So your work experience section shouldn't just be statements of your responsibilities. We really want to focus on the action, the context, and the results to describe those experiences. Really thinking about, why did my organization pay me to do this? So here we have a quick example. Before, it's a pretty simple, straightforward statement, liaison between customers and sales management. But what does that really mean, right? And so if we think about it in that action context and result, we can see that there is a lot more information there. And it's a lot easier to contextualize kind of what this person has done. Um, you know, Coordinated, there's that action. Over 10 company relationships between customers and sales management. That context, kind of the what. Increasing market share of petroleum product line by 25% and return business by 50%. What was the outcome? Why was it important? I have no idea really whose resume maybe this was coming from, what kind of field that they were in. Certainly not anything that I am personally familiar with. But despite that, I can still understand the breadth and the depth of the work that they've done, and I can draw conclusions about some of the skills that they were able to employ in that position, even as somebody who has no prior knowledge of their work experience. So that draws us towards the end of our presentation. So as you reflect on the information that I shared, just to help us process, I encourage you to think about, what is one key takeaway that you maybe had from this presentation? And what's one thing that you will do next to further prepare for your career change? If you have any questions, you are, of course, always welcome to come in to CEW Plus for further counseling. You can visit our information to, excuse me, for more information, you can visit our website. We offer in-person workshops sporadically, so be sure to check our calendar for more information on those. You can also see a wide variety of pre-recorded virtual presentations like this one, and utilize those resources. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope that this was helpful. And again, feel free to reach out to CEW Plus if you have any more questions or concerns about your career shifting journey. And I wish you all the best of luck as you navigate through this new career path.